This is Josh from APTV. We're backstage live, rocking the range. Jamey Jasta, how are you?
Good to see you. What's going on?
Not that much. Always a pleasure. You guys have been kind of waving the flag, where maybe a lot of your contemporaries have, moved on to, other things, and you guys are stronger than ever. What is it about, coming from the hardcore scene and still kind of being the spokespeople for that music and that scene?
Just, growing up listening to all the crossover bands and seeing the crossover was what we kind of wanted to do. And obviously, when you're 16 and you're starting a band and you want to emulate those bands, you kind of fall into the professionalism side of it, and you hope, okay, well, if these bands made it this far, maybe we could make it that far as well. So I think that's been the recipe for success. Is like, okay, look at the bands that crossed over into metal, or look at the bands that have stayed consistent. And you look at a band like Sepultura, a band like Slayer, who has always had both hardcore and metal fan bases, and then you look at the crossover bands like Agnostic Front and Biohazard, and even to an extent, you look at a band like Typo Negative, who I really looked up to them having the balls to do something completely different than what Carnivore was doing.
Right.
But I just thought, wow, if we could kind of have kids from all those different scenes get into Hatebreed, then maybe we'll be able to have that lasting kind of staying power, and we have. It's been good.
Now, for our younger readers and fans out there getting into hardcore music, can you tell us 5 crucial records? You mentioned Cro-Mags, Agnostic Front, Carnivore. 5 crucial albums to start anyone off that, if you want to get into the scene, where do you begin? Besides all 5 Hatebreed records.
Yeah, definitely I would say Cro-Mags, Age of Quarrel, because I started getting into more hardcore metal music more in the early 90s. It's those records that resonated with me. I went back and did the history and got into some of the late 80s stuff, but I would say Sick of It All, Just Look Around, Sheer Terror, Just Can't Hate Enough, probably either Biohazard Self-Titled or Biohazard Urban Discipline, and then if I had to choose a 5th, I would say Agnostic Front, Cause for Alarm, or Agnostic Front, One Voice, which I really gravitated towards because I think that was 91 or 92, and being from the inner city, right, and just kind of connecting with lyrics that were more about life and less about fantasies and things that metal bands were covering.
That's great. Great stuff. Check out those records. And finally, now on the reverse of it, are there any bands out there you think that are currently kind of waving the flag for the scene that you think have caught your eye, caught your ears, and that you've been checking out?
I'm really out of the loop as far as hardcore goes because I've listened mainly more to thrash and death metal, but I still have a soft place in my heart for it. And occasionally, now that I'm doing the podcast, which if people want to check it out, it's JameyJasta.com, or just go to SoundCloud.com and search The Jasta Show, or subscribe on iTunes. A lot of guests will tell me about certain bands, and there was a band that I was, someone suggested called Turnstile. Really cool, different type of band. Infuses like some punky elements and some post-hardcore, and then some classic kind of different hardcore elements. They're really good. This next band, they're not a new band, but I like a bunch of their songs. I have some songs of theirs on my running playlist. They're called Wisdom in Chains from Pennsylvania. They're not new. I know everybody's going to tweet me. They've been around 10 years, but I'm so out of the loop, as far as hardcore goes, that it's when people recommend a band to me that I'll check it out. I also like this band, and I don't know if they would be considered hardcore or more grindcore, but I heard a couple songs was really good, called Weekend Nachos.
Okay.
Solid band. And then I really like this band Trash Talk. Again, not a new band, I know, but I'm so out of the loop that I'm just catching up on bands that have been out for 8 years or whatever.
Right. Well, Jamey, always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you,
Good luck
Josh.
today on the stage. We'll be here rocking the range, APTV.